Here's an overview on how I put together some of these elements in this animation using Autodesk's PROJECT DRACO. First thing you want to do is draw a layer that you'll want to animate. The animation is applied to the whole layer, so consider the pieces of your animation separately. You can zoom in or zoom out to get some of the detail in that layer. And once you have the layer drawn, go ahead and choose a style of animation. So in the lower right hand corner, I'm going to choose particle. And in the particle settings, I can choose rain. Now rain's the emitter, so with the emitter selected, I'm just going to draw a line and allow those particles to flow out of that line. And they flow along that line. You can switch it up. But I want this to be a little more chaotic. So I'll draw this line that allows me to have more particles streaming from that same small area. Then with the icon right next to it, wind, I can just draw these little lines to influence where those particles move. And I'm just going to make a quick bounce. So it looks like or a quick arc, so it looks like they're bouncing. And then over on the right hand side of that bottom menu, you can change the path of the individual particles. So as they emit, they also move along a path. Instead, I'm going to choose pivot. And what pivot allows me to do is actually rotate those. And they'll just rock back and forth or spin around as they are being emitted. But it's the controls that really offer you the most creative control. If you open up the advanced controls, you'll see speed first. And I want these to pop out really quickly and then slow down as they come out of this emitter. So the popcorn just pops really fast and then kind of slows down, kind of like where it hits the arc. In the next section under scale, it's a similar type of curve that I can just draw with my finger. And here I want them to start a little bit smaller and then kind of spike up to a little more than 100%. And that's it. Back in the edit mode, I've gone ahead and made a new layer and drawn a pot on there. Then it looks like the popcorn's coming out a little bit too high. So I'll select that layer, go back into the animation mode, and just choose move and move that down. So I'm going to create a lid here, so I'm just going to create a new layer. I'll zoom in here a little bit and draw a little lid. And don't worry about any mistakes. There's an eraser tool and an undo button. And once I'm done cleaning this up, I'm going to take this into the animation side and choose Beeline. Now Beeline is going to let me actually draw with my finger, draw an animation path, and just making this move up and down. I get the animation path for how this is going to just loop out, moving up and down. But I also want this to pivot. So I've chosen the pivot tool, which is the next icon there, and I want to move the axis for where it's going to pivot down to the bottom. It's still going to move up and down, but now when I pivot this layer, it will pivot from that anchor point. Then over under controls, I can just crank up the pivot speeds to make it shake a little bit more. Once I'm happy with the way this looks, I'm just going to create a brand new layer and fill it with this brown tone and erase some of the inside of this so we can see through to the animation. Using a very small opacity to create this kind of vignette. Then over in animation, I'm going to choose Beeline. And inside Beeline, I'm going to go to move this a little bit to give it a shake and head over to controls. Under controls, I'll go to the advanced controls and change the opacity. What's great about this is that I can actually draw the opacity values over time just to give this brown tone a little bit of a flicker. If I still don't have enough flicker, I can go to the layer itself, and by clicking on the icon for the layer, I can choose the opacity value, just bring that down a little bit more. Using that same technique, I've created some perfs on the side to simulate old film. And the last thing left to do is just send it out. And you can send it out to Facebook or mail it to somebody. But you can also save the video to your library, and you can save this out using different durations or even different resolutions up to whatever your iPad supports. You can also upload and share your editable project with the entire Autodesk Draco community. I'm just getting started, so if you want to find out more about what I'm creating on my iPad in Project Draco, follow me on Twitter. Also follow Rubaiyat Habib and Scott Shepard while you're at it.